Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in today's episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a weight loss hypnosis session with a bit of a twist, and that twist is that this is less about changing what you eat and a lot more about finding the fun, excitement, and perhaps even freedom that comes from physical activities. And a lot of people make the idea of being physically active seem like a chore, seem like it's a dread by calling it exercise, and they get flashbacks of when they were at school doing, jogging or running in the rain and horrible things. So this is designed to create a feeling of wanting to be more active because of how it makes you feel. And I was working with a client that when they considered themselves at their fittest and in their ideal body shape, it was at a time when they were doing lots of horse riding, and the physicality of traipsing around and galloping around on horses meant that they were physically in a good shape, but they didn't have the time to be on horses now because that was a different time in their life. But they had tried to do gym memberships and personal trainers, and it felt like it was something they should do, but they didn't really want to do. So this takes that concept and plays with time. So there's a regression to a resourceful state. There's future pacing to when they have that really desirable body shape that they want for an upcoming holiday in their future. And then they figure out what would have needed to have happened for them to naturally have that body shape. And that might be swimming or walking more or jogging or going to the gym or finding a class they like. Something that it becomes a way of taking something that is positive and then amplifying it. They'd already made changes with reducing alcohol. So this suggestion about a chain reaction is designed to take the progress they've already made and use that to create momentum to make even more positive changes. And I think one of the most wonderful things to think about a change in your life, you can just look at a change as a change, or you can look at a change as the start of a chain reaction. And when it has that ability to really, one thing leads to another, almost like a row of dominoes going down, that's when, people that haven't seen you for a year or two are just shocked at the level of change that can take place. And not because of one change, but because that one change led to another change, led to another, and that's what creates these incredible transformations. So if you like the idea of embarking on a physical transformation, and maybe in different ways as well, I think this idea of a chain reaction could be quite helpful. And even better if you have some kind of summer holiday booked later this year, or the kind of place that you're going to be, you can start imagining yourself already being that body shape. As always, it was created for a specific individual. You might not have an affinity with horse riding, or the change you might want to make might not be because of physical activity. It might come from dietary changes. So if you do want something a bit more bespoke to you and your individual needs, there will be a link in the show notes where you can schedule that consultation call to explore working with me. For now, though, find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in that feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow your eyelids to close. And as they close, scan your body for any feelings of tension and allow it to release. And when you breathe in slightly longer and deeper. And as you exhale, allow that outward breath to continue a little bit longer than it normally would, so that as you breathe in and breathe out, each breath ever so slightly longer than the last. Breathing in resourcefulness, exhaling tension. And give yourself a sense of acknowledgement for the progress you've already made. I want you to get a sense that a change can just be a change, but a change can also be the beginning of a chain reaction. I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine a big long line of dominoes. And then imagine a single solitary domino all by itself. And imagine tipping over that single solitary domino. And it's just that. One domino falls, and everything continues as it was. But as you breathe in and breathe out, imagine what would happen if that line of dominoes had that first domino flipped over. The first domino hits the second, hits the third. Imagine an incredible chain reaction that was only possible because of that very first domino. And what if a change you've already made isn't a blip, isn't a one-off, but the start of the most wonderful chain reaction, taking your life and your future to wonderful, positive, and empowering places? What if the 17th domino that falls is someone you love, doing something different because they were inspired by you? But that 17th domino only fell because of the first and then the second. Every good decision, every positive change could be the very next domino in that chain reaction. Breathe in and breathe out and allow your imagination to take you to countryside on a spring or summer's day that you remember from your childhood. I want you to return to that childhood countryside at your current age, but I want you to see someone that looks just like you riding on a horse. And if you can imagine that, let me know by nodding your head. And just observe the emotion of that younger version of you on that horse. Maybe they look relaxed and free. Maybe they're smiling. Maybe there's a sense of peace or calm. Maybe they're with someone, a friend. I want you to get a sense this is reconnaissance for you. I want you to get a sense that when certain ingredients are there, doing something physical is not a chore, it's a pleasure. It's not something you should do, it's something you can't wait to do. And on that spring or summer day, just imagine seeing the blue skies, feeling the warmth of the sun on your skin, and feeling that it's helping you to melt away any tension, any stresses. I want you to get a sense that all of those feelings that you had back then are possible for you now and in the moment. And I want you to imagine feeling what it would feel like to step into that version of you where you now feel like you're that age, roaming around the countryside, maybe even galloping. Feel the wind on your face, the rhythm, the movement, a wonderful sense of freedom, of fun, of excitement. Your heart was racing sometimes, but you didn't notice. Your muscles were getting stronger, but that was never the point. I want you to get a sense that when you naturally become fit and strong and healthy, it's because it was the side effect of what you were doing, not the function. And if it feels like you're reconnecting with that sense of activity, freedom, enjoyment, let me know by nodding your head. And sometimes you were in a state of flow. You were able to do things without even thinking about it. You may have even been galloping fast and daydreaming at the same time, because your mind and body knew how to ride that horse, so you didn't even need to think about it. And some people call this unconscious competence, the ability to do something well without even trying. But it didn't start that way. You can recall the very first time you got onto a horse and it felt daunting, intimidating. You weren't sure what to do, but you stuck with it. And that awkward feeling of being judged, not knowing what to do, very quickly became a feeling of confidence. You trusted yourself to do it well. And what if there's other things now in your present like that only feel awkward because they're slightly outside of your comfort zone? What if the goal is to feel comfortable enough till you can do them without thinking? But first, let's visit a future. I want you to imagine drifting forwards in time, beyond the present, into the very next summer. But this time I want you to imagine that you're observing your future self like you're someone else. And I want you to see them on holiday, perhaps by a pool, by a beach, wearing the clothes that reveal a strong, healthy, athletic body. I want you to see yourself with a kind of body shape that you would be proud of, that you would feel confident in, that would give you a sense of sky-high self-esteem. And when you can see that future version of you with that body shape that is desirable for you, let me know by nodding your head. I want you to get a sense that this is not wishful thinking. What if this is the consequence of 2 or 3 decisions and the lag time that follows? A decision to reduce or eliminate alcohol would mean thousands of empty calories are no longer consumed. A desire to go to the gym 2 or 3 times a week would change your body composition. Finding something active and fun would mean that your body composition changes. Fat is reduced and muscle is increased, not as the intention, but as the side effect. And I want you to see that future version of you if just 2 or 3 things change. Things that you enjoy doing and also help you to become fitter, healthier, and stronger. And then step into that future version of you. Feel how much more energy you have, how much stronger you feel. And imagine staring into a full-length mirror and smiling as that inner dialogue says something complimentary about yourself. And you know it's true. Not an affirmation, an evaluation. You are evaluating that you've made some changes, and this is your reward for those changes. And if it feels like this is a desirable but also possible future, let me know by nodding your head. And as you look at yourself in the mirror, I want you to think, what simple things did you do that led to this body? Imagine traveling through time. You're now in your future, thinking back to the very simple things you did to create this body shape. Maybe you rejoined a gym. Maybe you found a personal trainer. Maybe you discovered an exercise class that you had so much fun doing. Maybe you started swimming once or twice a week. Or maybe you decided to watch certain TV shows while you're on a cardio machine. And I want you to get a sense that you don't need to do all of these things. Just finding 1 or 2 things that are fun, enjoyable, the kind of things you can do regularly until it becomes just a part of a routine, a habit, something that harnesses your nature to be a creature of habit, but now have it work for you rather than against you. And if you can think of maybe 1 or 2 things that would make this body shape inevitable, let me know by nodding your head. And as you think back, I want you to think of the moment that something changed. A fear of judgment suddenly led to a point where you couldn't care less. You were going to do that thing anyway. Finding something magical happened. That the moment you decided to simply not care of the opinions of other people, you made the very thing more fun. more free, more desirable for you. Nobody would want to lose weight or get strong if it was a miserable journey. I want you to recall that when you were horse riding regularly, you had a great physique as a side effect of being active regularly. And therefore that is the winning formula. Not to miserably lose weight, but to train your body to adapt while enjoying the process. And give yourself permission to do that. As you imagine drifting back to the present, thinking about what you will do in the next few days that could represent the second or third domino in that chain reaction. And when you know exactly what you would do, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. So take that thought, turn it into a decision, and figure out what you would do to implement that decision, enabling your chain reaction to continue. But it's time to return fully to the present, no longer in the future, no longer in the past, completely in the here and now. So take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes, start to calibrate with the here and now as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.